Welcome back for another helping of Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. I'm Ross Bolen here with my buddy Barrett Dudley to bring you the best TV shows and movies weekly in an easily digestible podcast packed with laughs. Barrett, how are you today, my good friend?
Oh, I'm good. Got to keep my eyes focused on the computer here 1 second, just because I am finishing up buying 19 different Baby Yoda t-shirts.
Oh, good. Big fan.
Yeah,
big fan.
Big fan of LBY right there. That's Little Baby Yoda, if you didn't know.
Is LBY being used as Little Baby Yoda, or did you just invent that?
I mean, I've heard him referred to as Little Baby Yoda. On the tweet machine.
Okay.
And so
I like LBY.
I'm just adopting the LBY as his name. He doesn't have a name.
The notorious LBY.
The notorious LBY.
I'm a big acronym guy.
Yeah.
If you didn't know that about me.
So yeah, there's actually I just Googled that though, and because he doesn't have a name, I don't. Where's the merch? You know?
Yeah, that's a problem.
The
what do you
merch
Google?
Isn't easy to find yet. So.
Baby Yoda merch. Let's see what this yields.
Yeah.
Okay, we got some stuff going, but it's not good.
It's not good. It's not good.
Ooh,
maybe
what
we
everybody
can get in there before all the C&Ds go out and sell our own Baby Yoda t-shirt.
Man, maybe that's the move.
You know?
Why does everybody feel the need to put everything ever on a tacky Christmas sweater the last 5 years this has started?
Well, because the tacky Christmas sweater thing
just kind of went mainstream.
It went super, super hard mainstream.
It got ruined.
And yeah.
It's been ruined for all of us, as Larry David would say.
And how those things go, it's like I think they're the mainstream producers of things are like they're not, just like they were late to the trend, they're now late to like falling off the trend. So they're still going really hard.
That's how it always is.
Even though I don't.
They just won't let go.
Maybe people are still like having tacky Christmas sweater parties, but I don't think it's like as much of a thing as it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
You remember that trend where we would play that song, everybody in their offices was doing videos, making videos of this.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd freeze, and then they'd do the crazy, it would freeze, and then the beat would drop or whatever, and it'd be like, we're wild and crazy. Remember this?
Yeah, it's the Harlem
Shake. I think that's what it was. Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple of those. Yes, that one.
Yeah.
As an example, 6 months after that trend had died, I was sitting in the Chick-fil-A at Westlake, and the manager was planning their Harlem Shake video. And I was like, yeah, that's over. Yeah. Well, we have a fun show planned today.
We do.
We're covering Watchmen, Season 1, Episode 6. We are also discussing Episode 3 of Disney Plus's The Mandalorian, and we're getting back into his dark materials so people will stop screaming at us on the Twitter machine. This episode of OCC is brought to you by Leesa. I routinely argue that your mattress is up there with your TV in terms of important purchases you're going to make for your home, so you have to ask yourself, is your mattress kind of shitty? Do you even remember where it came from? Do you wake up every morning feeling like you've won the lottery because your mattress is so damn comfortable? I do. On my Hybrid by Leesa, and it's time for you to join me. Leesa knows how important rest is to a better life. Leesa is the foundation of a healthier, happier you, and to Leesa, a bed is more than just a place to sleep. It's a place for relaxation and rest. All of Leesa's products have been thoughtfully designed to go beyond creating a comfortable bed, to transform your bedroom into a sanctuary that you actually want to spend time in. Their most advanced luxury hybrid mattress, the one that I have, the one that Barrett has as well, coincidentally, is made with premium foams and springs for enhanced pressure relief with edge-to-edge support. The most comfortable bed I've ever laid on.
It's no coincidence that we each chose the best bed that you can buy.
It isn't a coincidence. Coincidentally was the wrong word.
Right. It's just we're just smart individuals that
make
made a
conscious decisions.
Made a conscious decision. Yeah.
We make savvy.
We're just sound
purchase
shoppers.
Decisions.
Yeah. We have great purchasing, prowess
and power.
Yeah.
Purchasing power.
Yeah.
Sort of good purchasing power anyway. I feel like purchasing power is based on how much money you have, in which case we're doing all right, but it's not like we have great purchasing power. Sure. Anyway, Leesa donates one mattress for every 10 they sell through organizations that work in causes like foster care prevention. To date, they've donated more than 33,000 mattresses to more than 1,000 nonprofits. Leesa mattresses are made in the USA. In-home delivery and setup is available. Financing is also available. Don't miss out. Live healthier. Live happier. by resting deeper. Order today, Clam Fam. Get 15% off any mattress for a limited time at Leesa.com/dragon and use the promo code DRAGON. That's LEESA.com/dragon. Promo code DRAGON. What's going on Patreon this beautiful month of November? For those of you who don't know, patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles. If you've ever asked yourself, where could I find more OCC if I wanted it? The answer is patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles. Patreon is simply a platform that affords us the ability to directly bring you content advertisement free in exchange for your support for the show in the form of a pledge each month. Barrett, do you want to tell us what we've got going on in the month of November?
Yes. Well, if you're a member of our top boys for the top tier, and top girls, that's the Mollusk Militia.
Yeah.
Then you will be treated to a glorious hotline call episode, which you'll be able to play for your Thanksgiving and your holiday travels.
For your people. Yeah, for your when you're moving around. We're recording it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then it'll be available probably a few hours after that.
Yeah.
So if you're on the road, moving and shaking on, Wednesday, Thursday?
Right. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, any of the days,
You got another episode of OCC to listen to that's going to be driven by calls from our, as Barrett said, it's our $10 tier, our top tier on Patreon, the Mollusk Militia, discussing all manner of topics from Parasite to Joker to Righteous Gemstones to whatever they feel like calling in about. They have their own exclusive hotline that they can call in and ask questions. It's a great time.
Yeah, that's right. Right. We can even nickname it for the next month or so the Mandalorian Militia.
There you go. We could. We very well could, just for funsies.
Just to give a little tip of our cap to the Disney Plus show that everybody's talking about.
Oh, yeah. No, we could. We also had Movie Club, for Parasite?
Shouts to all my parasites out there.
Incredible. It was incredible. By the way, when you sign up on Patreon, the other tier is the Crustacean Nation. It's only $5. The only thing you'll miss out on is the hotline call extravaganza for the Mollusk Militia that Barrett and I just discussed. But you'll immediately gain access when you sign up to everything in our backlog from all the other months that we've done content, from August, July, June, etc. There are so that's, if you're in the Crustacean Nation, that's like at least 12 episodes of the show. It's more than that. I think it's more like 15 that you've never heard that you could listen to right now.
Yeah.
If you're in the Mollusk Militia, you can add another 5 or 6 to that or whatever, however many months we've been doing this on patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles. It's a hell of a deal. For just $5, you're getting a ton of content supporting the show, and it's a great way to end the year with some extra content for yourself during the busiest, most traveliest season of all.
Absolutely.
Traveliest.
Yeah. We covered Rick and Morty last week.
Yeah, we had a little Rick and Morty powwow.
Yeah.
Showed a lot of respect. We did. I haven't watched the newest one
Rick,
yet.
And to Morty, and to Mr. Park.
Yes, and to Mr. Park. And Mr. Mises. Did you watch the latest Rick and Morty yet?
No, I've not.
I haven't yet either. I was quite busy with
but
our
I
lineup.
certainly will.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Quick note, we forgot to mention how much we like the episode descriptions that say nothing but have a very funny voice.
Yes, they use the perfect Rick and Morty marketing voice in all of their marketing. And thank you, Barrett. You and I we meant to give some props there too.
Yeah.
Because it'll be like, Rick tries to destroy the universe again, bruh.
And
it's BROH.
Oh, Morty goes crazy on this one, man.
Yeah. They do fantastic marketing. And everything is, the way they keep the voice and tone of the show in their marketing, in every bit of marketing, and sort of like, it almost plays with the way, episodes end where it's like Rick and Morty yelling at each other outside the garage usually and shit. It carries like that level into the marketing somehow, that vibe of just playful fun, and which is good, dude, because the show's marketing needs levity and silliness because the show's attacking like the darkest possible subject matter in the silliest possible way. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just such a weird mix. But yes, shouts to Rick and Morty.
And there you go. There's a little taste of our Rick and Morty conversation from the Patreon.
Exactly. Now you've been teased. Thoroughly teased. Your nipples have been tweaked. That's it. Patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles. You ready to talk Watchmen?
Probably not, but I'm going to give it my best go, regardless.
Mike, have you watched the episode this week?
I did watch it.
Oh,
I watched it earlier today, and it was probably the best episode I've seen, not just of Watchmen, but of anything this year. It was...
Wow.
It was pretty amazing. Yeah.
It really... I don't think you're alone in that sentiment, by the way. I think it really... This is the episode that sort of broke through, I believe, this is my opinion, that sort of broke through the Iron Curtain of like, yeah, okay, really hardcore HBO fans and nerds are watching Watchmen, but not people... Because it's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
But I think this last week was so fucking good that it got critics starting to just like drool over the show. and that's going to bring more people in, hopefully.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Hell of an episode. Crazy. A lot of black and white.
Yes, but before we talk about all of the deeper stuff, we need to talk about our boy, our man, really, the Yellow King. And I'm just calling him the Yellow King because he's like...
That's him. That's what he is.
He ends up being, kind of our main big bad on True Detective Season 1,
right.
if you will. And I'm going to look up this guy's name here in a second. It's a shame that I don't know it off the top of my head. And I should, because it would appear, by all accounts, that he has a contract with HBO where he gets to appear in literally every show that they make.
Yeah, the HBO family, as we call it, is ridiculous in that...
And we've talked about this, before, that, like, if you're in an HBO show...
Your career's made.
They will continue to bring you back for stuff over the years.
Right.
But usually it's more like... It's more like what's his face, Aidan Gillen, Aidan something or other, the guy that was in The Wire,
smaller parts
as the mayor, and then like The Wire wrapped up, and then like 8 years later they bring him back for Game of Thrones to be to play Littlefinger, right? Like
sure, but I think it's become like since his career, that's when it like started to be a thing that was picking up for them. I feel like back when The Wire was on, The Sopranos is a really good example. It wasn't so prevalent, this whole HBO family thing where they were like literally using the same actors over and over and over and over and over. But it's gotten more and more it's become more and more of a thing, I think, over the past like 10 years.
Yeah.
Because like, you'll see Game of Thrones actors in every show.
Yeah.
For the remainder of HBO's existence.
But so I'm referring specifically to the guy that plays Fred.
Yeah.
He burns the Jewish deli down and is one of the kind of would seem to be a head honcho in the Cyclops branch of the Ku Klux Klan.
Glenn Fleshler is the name of the actor.
Glenn Fleshler. There you go.
The Yellow King, Glenn Fleshler.
Glenn Fleshler.
Mm-hmm.
Glenn Fleshlight?
That sounds like that.
Close to
I
that.
was just about to make a Fleshlight
Shea
joke,
Wiggum is another guy from...
Yes, Shea Wiggum gets to be in everything as well, but not as much as Glenn Fleshler. Just off the top of my head here now.
Okay.
Barry.
Yep.
True Detective.
Mm-hmm.
Watchmen.
Mm-hmm. I can do his
I
IMDb.
know there's more. I
can do his IMDb, but I want to see how many you get in there.
It had to have been more than that.
He was in Joker? Oh, well, he's in Billions.
He
The
was
Twilight
definitely in
Zone,
Joker.
those aren't HBO shows.
Is my entire point about to be proved wrong here? Has he only been in
yes,
3?
because here's the thing. I think you're wrong on him and him being in more than the other guy I just brought up. I think he's done more stuff, period. But he's not in all these. He was in, like, Waco, the TV miniseries. He was in, like, some of the Twilight Zone episodes like that. He was in Joker. He was in Billions. He's been in a bunch of shit. Maniac.
Oh, he was in Night Of. He was in The Night Of.
The Night
So
of,
that's
yeah.
4. That's 4.
What else?
Boardwalk Empire. He was
in Boardwalk
He was
Empire.
Remus. He was George Remus in Boardwalk Empire. That's 5.
Oh my god, that had to have been the first thing I saw him in at that point. And I did not realize that he was a Boardwalk Empire guy. He was also the voice of Timmer in Grand Theft Auto 4's The Ballad of Gay Tony.
He was in an episode of Sex and the City. That's 6.
How was he in he was Shmuel.
Shmuel
For all the Sex and the City fans.
Yeah. That's 6 HBO shows.
Okay,
5 of which are like all in the last decade.
It's an impressive run, Barrett. I'll give you that. Is it better than Shea Wiggum's?
He just pops up in all of the stuff.
We're about to find out.
Like you said, you know what I mean? And it feels like he's been in even more because he does pop in.
Okay.
And he's in Joker. He's in
Shea
Billions.
Wiggum was in Joker too. What the hell?
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but this is just like strike. He was also in Waco. Why do are they tethered at the ankle?
Dude, these guys have been in stuff together.
They roll deep together, man.
Because he was in Boardwalk Empire too, obviously.
Yeah, I'm trying to find, like, is there a way I can click on, like, HBO only?
Glenn Fleshler was in...
this man has done too much work.
Glenn Fleshler was in...
I'm on Shea Wiggum now.
Okay, he was in Maniac as well.
Yeah, I said that one.
Oh, you did say that one?
Listen, dude.
Okay.
Jesus. No, this is an incomplete. This isn't right. I'm looking at this. This IMDb is broken. This is broken. This can't be right.
All right. Well, we can move on. That dude's just in a lot of stuff. And he's been in many HBO things, and I'm sure he will continue to be. he's a great asshole.
Shea Wiggum was in Vice Principals, though. Can your man say the same?
No, he cannot.
Wow. Sad. Sad. Okay, moving on to Watchmen into what happened here. This episode was a trip. Literally, we spend almost the entirety of it with Angela Abar in her grandfather's memories via the bottle of nostalgia she chugged last episode. The only couple minutes we're not are with, what's her name, Silk Spectre trying to talk her out
Agent Blake.
Agent Blake's trying to talk her back to her senses, which it almost seemed like it was a fruitless effort, obviously, but like almost. I feel like, how much do people know about this nostalgia stuff and how it works?
Well, we know that it was created, or that Lady True and her conglomerate owns the company that created it, and then had to shut the production down.
It was made illegal because it was becoming like the opioid crisis.
Right,
people were getting addicted to it.
And then we also know that in a previous episode, Lady True told Will that the pills were. She says that him leaving the pills in the car for her to find was a passive-aggressive act of exposition, which is kind of like it's almost like a preliminary shot at this episode, because this episode does like tell us so much. It reveals a lot. So it was kind of an episode that had a lot of exposition.
Sure.
And she calls it too cute by half, even.
Wow.
So she like makes fun of the episode a little bit.
That's kind of weird.
Before it even happens.
Just hinting towards the.
But just
we're gonna show you everything.
Right. But that's kind of, these pills are obviously like, they're
obviously good. Pills are good.
Pills are good.
Pills are good. You're welcome.
That was on TV the other day.
Was it?
I watched like at least 45 minutes of it, and I got the pills are good scene.
Oh man, I'm jealous. Good stuff.
It was just a goof.
Just a goof, guy.
So, but they.
Does he die right there?
Oh yeah,
yeah, he dies right there. That's
because they give him the rat poison instead of his ulcer pills.
Yeah, they murdered that guy unintentionally, and then they just hit the road.
Mental. They call him Mental.
Great villain. You have to hand it to him. Him and that girl.
Oh yeah.
And their boss.
Just let me do them.
Yeah, they're great.
You don't kill people you don't know.
The stupidest reasoning and shit. Like, the best is when he's in the phone booth using the phone, and the guy
breaks that
outside
dude's
is like,
face? Yeah.
"Get off the phone," and just takes one to the face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, that movie was good.
Okay, sorry.
Dumb and Dumber. If you're like, what is happening right now? Yeah, we landed on the moon.
Yeah. So they got these things, these memory pills. They're real crazy.
Yeah, they're member berries. And,
they are member berries.
So she goes deep and does the whole become her grandfather thing. She basically lives through him and his memories and whatnot. And turns out the old man has lived a very interesting life. He is the original Watchman, Hooded Justice, the OG gay superhero, the spiritual founder of the Minutemen. And we see how that all starts to unfold in this episode. First off, we already knew he was gay, right? Or we already knew Hooded Justice was gay. There was a line in one of the past two episodes about his sexuality.
Yeah, it's brought up in the original comic, as a slur. That's like the only way it's brought up.
Oh, word.
Yeah,
and we also saw the we saw Looking Glass. Oh shit, we didn't even touch on Looking Glass this episode. We got no idea what happened to him.
Yep. Or Ozymandias.
Right. I felt the
But Looking Glass is in danger.
Yeah,
they were about to go bust up in his crib.
It seems like he was maybe going to get got there.
Mm.
So, but what we were just saying?
I don't know.
We were saying.
I'm not the guy to ask.
Hooded Justice.
Because I'm physically here.
Looking Glass was watching the TV, and I guess he was watching the show.
He was watching the Minutemen show. It wasn't. That's what it was. Thank you, Barry. Because we were like, he was
not gay porn.
Yeah. No, we said he was watching like Minutemen themed porn.
Right.
But it was in fact a part of the show.
Yes. Yeah.
America's Greatest Hero or whatever it's called.
Minutemen. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we saw Hooded Justice, doing some
sex.
guy on guy stuff.
Yeah. So thanks to whoever that was on Twitter, who somebody tweeted at us to let us know. Shouts to you, whoever that was that let us know that was not porn. It was in fact part of that show.
Just a very. Do you think that's? I wonder if that's like a little bit of a kind of like a tongue-in-cheek knock on HBO for always including like gratuitous sex and stuff.
I doubt very much Lindelof would like find that as an amusing point to make, though.
Okay.
Right?
Just throwing it
I
out.
don't know. He doesn't do a whole lot of nudity. Leftovers.
Lindelof? Sure.
Yeah.
Right,
He's not
right.
a big like
Yeah,
gratuitous gore or nudity guy. He's a mental guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else happened in this fucking psychotic episode? I mean, we walked through all the different. So first, like what the movie theater thing? They were using cinemas and the projectors to cause chaos and riots amongst the African American community.
It was like a strobe effect where they're controlling their minds.
Right, which we actually got a warning about, like a health warning at the front of the episode.
Right.
And I'm always like, God damn it, I don't know. It's like, if you're a photosensitive human, there's going to be flashing lights that will cause you to pass out and bleed from your nose. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, and the fact that they
I'm
call
gonna watch it anyway.
they call attention to it, and then when it happens, I'm like always on like my the edge of my seat, like, oh my God, don't have a seizure, don't
I'm
have a
like
seizure.
Trump with the eclipse. I stare directly into it. I'm like, fucking, let's go then. Let's go then. You serious? You think you got something on me? It's the exact same.
Yeah, I mean, we basically just watch the story of we see the Hooded Justice origin story, which I mean,
It's a black guy, first of all.
right?
That's crazy.
Yes. Yeah,
It's a gay black guy.
Yeah.
But he's putting on just, white paint around his face because his wife tells him.
whiteface. He's basically wearing whiteface.
It's whiteface, yeah.
so that the people will allow him to be
A superhero.
a vigilante,
A
a
vigilante,
superhero.
yeah.
yeah.
Which, that's racist.
Yeah, I mean, in this episode, God, it really touches on all of that, and I mean,
It's weird seeing alternate realities
just-
of racism in history, like the historic racism in the U.S. from like an alternate reality, an
Sure.
alternate history or whatever.
Right.
Like, obviously, this isn't the way it went down.
yeah,
But it's always like, it's like a reminder of how horrific shit was when you get it through through a different lens.
yeah. I mean, and just because the vigilantism obviously is not real here. They certainly tapped into racism that was
very real.
and is real, and it's always very affecting to like watch all that type of stuff, and it's I honestly I feel like there was, I know Lindelof was like saying a lot in this episode, and big credit to Cord Jefferson who wrote the episode. And Mike, do you know, is it Stephen Williams, who I believe was the director?
I can find out.
I think so.
Got a Google machine.
I'm
Brand
not
new.
sure, though.
I believe I got the names right. But you just watching the episode, I was like, I paused and wondered to myself. I was
Stephen Williams.
like, yeah, certainly you got to let the the black members of your team handle the chunk of this one, right?
Mhm. Oh yeah,
Like
definitely.
this is territory that is.
You mean as a white guy,
Yeah.
you can't write all this shit and like not have black input?
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I would hope
Right.
so.
So the guys credited with the writing and directing of this episode are black members of Lindelof's writing team and directing team.
Got it.
And yeah, it was powerful shit, man.
I really loved how it was, like you guys were saying, an exposition dump, the entire thing. It's like, okay, Angela needs to know the history of her
How
grandfather.
Her grandfather came
Right.
to be.
And we need to know as viewers for the story to make sense and us to go forward. And that could have been in another show, just an info dump,
Sure.
somebody explaining it to somebody. But here they made a whole artful episode out
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
The director of Birdman, Inarritu,
Mhm.
was very much inspired by that, how it's seemingly one long take.
Oh
Yeah.
That's
Lindelof and the
yes.
director talked about how they were inspired by Birdman, which was
Okay.
inspired by Rope, the Alfred Hitchcock movie, and they just decided.
Oh, I didn't know that about Rope.
Yeah, that's the great thing about this show. It's like the writing is great and the themes they're tackling are so heavy, but it is always such an entertaining spectacle.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
for
just
sure.
so much fun to watch, even though we're dealing with really heavy stuff.
Yeah, and adding a flashback episode like this that went deep into the history of how we got to be here and some of these characters that we've met, their pasts and families and such, that it took it to a whole nother level for me. Like the show was really good through 5 episodes. Now it's like tinkering on greatness.
Yeah.
Right? Like if we got 3 left and they have built I feel the same amount of momentum I felt for like the Leftovers seasons 2
and 3.
and 3.
Yeah,
Where
right.
you're like, wow, you can just feel it's like, oh my God, all this stuff's starting to come together. It's getting really fucking intense. You have no idea where it's going. There's so many different elements at play. It's chaos.
Yeah. So, eventually Will, Hooded Justice, when he finds himself, at the warehouse, Fred is there. He knows that like some of this pieces of the insidious conspiracy are going down here, and he basically like is able to wipe out a chunk of them. Gets the mesmerizing machine.
Yes, or one of them,
and then
burns
like
the rest of them.
70 years later, is using it on Judd
to get him to hang himself. Yeah. With basic, you don't have to be super precise when you're aiming this fucking thing, actually. You can be being wheeled in a wheelchair and just like sort of nonchalant it over your shoulder.
Yeah, the rules on it are a little iffy, for sure. Yeah. Do you guys think that's what Lady True is building with her tower?
A giant one of those? Oh, fuck, that's terrifying.
Because her and Hooded Justice are in cahoots now.
Mind control.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But it does turn out it was the old man who hung Judd from a tree.
Yeah,
he just didn't do it physically.
And did you feel like that particular, the conclusion here that he did, he was behind Judd's hanging, basically, I felt like opened up or left more questions unanswered.
About why, for sure.
About what, right?
Whether or not Judd was a racist, he tries to explain, that was my grandfather's, it's part of my heritage, I have the right to keep it. He's like, well, then why do you keep it hidden if you're so proud of it?
Right.
And that's sort of it. There's no more conversation to it. He's like, all right.
What I find about the show that's really interesting is that there's no black and white. There are no absolutes. It's trying to mirror, I think, the real world where
it's very difficult to tell.
It's difficult to tell the bad guys from the good guys. Everybody has a little bit of good. Everybody has a little bit of bad.
Sure.
Our motivations are so complex.
And that's a very important word here, Mike. Motivations. The motivations of these characters are yet to be revealed for pretty much all of them not named Angela Abar.
Yeah.
She's trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. I guess Silk Spectre as well. But everybody else, her grandfather, Lady True, the psycho Ozymandias, like we don't really know other than Escape, I guess. We don't know what they intend.
Yeah. Another thing that the show is clearly very interested in is just like trauma in general.
Oh yeah.
And so this one dealt with some of the absolute worst kind, but like what does Will's wife say to him? She's like, you are an angry person,
right?
And it's like, well, first of all, how could you not be, given the trauma experienced and the way that you're treated, like just as your life continues to go on?
I mean, we saw enough scenes in this episode alone for him to be angry.
But I think it's I think it's pretty clear that what we see when he does compel Judd to hang himself is that he's still holding on to that.
Oh yeah.
Like nothing has been resolved through
still angry
vigilantism or deals made with True or you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I kind of had it as there's got to be another reason for why, because the Judd hanging kickstarts this whole process, right? He clearly knew Angela's his granddaughter. He clearly knew how close she was with Judd. Who knows how long and what it was before he decided to go whatever route, and then why. And that's what we'll have to find out. But so I couldn't tell if it was like, did he still have hate or anger in him for racism, or was that just sort of the thing he used as an excuse to kickstart whatever this is he's got going here?
And I think that is a larger question overall, because even somebody, it's the same kind of thing that Blake says to Angela, where it's like people that wear masks, they do it because they're trying to they are usually trying to get justice for something that happened to them when they were kids. And so they're hiding behind masks. They're hiding pain behind the masks.
Right.
And so she's dealing with a lot of that. Looking Glass is dealing with that. Like Hooded Justice was obviously dealing with that. So I think it's just it's clearly exploring what makes people that want to go to these lengths tick.
Yeah. And it's definitely connecting the line of personal trauma, generational trauma, and racial trauma.
Right.
Because it's telling that type of story and connecting all those three together and reminding you that all this stuff is very potent, and it's tied together. And it hadn't done that as brilliantly as it does in this episode.
It's also something that we don't really, at least as white people, explore or acknowledge very often, is the longer-lasting effects of slavery and racism in the United States. I think by and large, me included, when I was younger, until I got older and gained some perspective and maturity, like to you, to white people, racism and slavery are a thing that happened, and that's sort of it. It's a piece of history.
Right.
For black people, that's a thing that happened to them, to their families, and they carry that trauma that we just spoke about in a lot of different ways. And it's a huge piece of our country that we don't really talk about properly still, even in 2019. It's like there's not a willingness on, frankly, the white side of politics to bear the weight of all that has occurred. And I'm not going to take it any further than that, other than to say that it's still a very big problem that, yes, Watchmen has found a way to sort of address in a more impactful way than I've seen anywhere else so far.
Yeah, I remember once, just really quick, I was talking to somebody and they were complaining about, they're saying racist comments and complaining, why can't the black community lift itself up like the white community has in this day and age?
It's the worst take.
And I was like, well, my argument was to pull up pictures of civil rights riots on my phone where black people are being attacked by dogs. And I was like, do you understand this is somebody's father or grandfather who's alive today and is struggling?
Right.
And I think this episode was doing that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That connection is often not there for those who don't have enough wherewithal or experience with the matter.
And I mean, and even if we know that we know that like racism and systemic oppression is like still involved.
Well, you and I know
in a major way, like in our country today. Even if those things were better, we all still have to like basically reconcile with the fact that the country itself was built like because of slavery. Like it was a major cog in the way that the country
absolutely
came to be a global power.
And
basically.
frankly, on a more disturbing note, it's the way most countries were built.
Yeah, in Western civilization.
Yeah,
sure.
Using slavery and slave labor.
So it's all. I mean, there's just
and back into history, man. People been.
But you made a good point. It's just some like the layers, the depth that kind of that issue overall like finds.
Yeah,
is just not. It's we can try to understand it as and have compassion and like and do what we can, but it's like not something that I think you can even really like grasp.
It's the same exact thing
if because we don't actually experience like
the
day-to-day.
It's the same exact thing with interrelationships, even friendships. Like I can talk to you about, and this is not a comparable trauma, but I can talk to you all day long about like how I have anxiety and panic attacks and like my mental health issues. But if you've never had shit like that, you can't really understand.
Right.
You can't. You can be sympathetic and you can try to help, but you can't understand it unless you experience something that level of impactful. And obviously, again, not trying to compare my mental health issues with slavery. I'm just saying that's the sort of ballpark we're playing in there. Yeah. Well, anyway, any other Watchmen thoughts?
Yeah. Do you just aside from the the heavy stuff there, which
it was all pretty heavy.
It was all pretty heavy, but like. Any thoughts for what will happen going forward?
So we come out of the episode, and she is now with Lady True. Angela is in her residence. We're not sure how that happened. I'm assuming they were worried she was going to die, and Silk Spectre somehow contacted Lady True or whatever.
Yeah.
But we're not out of the woods with the nostalgia. She's going to continue to experience nostalgia next episode, at the very least, it appears, based on the next time on Watchmen.
I didn't see the next time.
I missed it too because I walked out of the room for a second.
So she's with Lady True, and she's coming too, but she's gonna be going in and out, I think, and we're gonna get more. But we're also gonna be spending time in the present. I don't think it's gonna be. This is my guess. It's gonna be more half and half, or a little bit less of a percentage. But based on what we got this episode. Obviously, Angela needs to have a conversation with her grandfather, who coincidentally and fortunately is with Lady True, so hopefully that will take place. There's a scene in the next time where she's like running around the grounds, maybe attempting to find her grandfather that she's not being allowed to see or speak to, and she like kicks in a door and is astonished by what she finds, but we don't see what it is. The room doesn't seem deep enough for it to be a human being. I'll just say that. I don't know. I don't know where we go from here, man. That's the thing that has to happen next for me. Grandfather and Angela need to have a conversation. We need to find out what is it that he wants from her.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he spurring her toward action? What is that action? And where are we going from here? What's going on with Looking Glass? Is the 7th Cavalry planning some? I mean, what we got only 3 left, and the way they hit us with like the only 3 left. Did you see that part?
No.
It was. They were like, "Oh, you motherfuckers!" They got cocky with it. Like they know. I think they know they've got something really sick.
Well,
going
we've
here.
talked on this show about how, like, Mike, you even mentioned that the first 6 episodes is kind of isn't. I believe that's what they gave as screeners.
Right, yeah. All critics got the first 6.
Yeah. So that
shit.
It really is like the base, and now we've reached the peak, the top of the roller coaster, I guess.
Nobody
and now
knows what comes next.
Now we're about to take the ride down, and it should be. I mean, I was telling our group text earlier today, because I think you and I are the only ones that have been paying attention to the show.
Dumbasses.
But like, it's too early to say because I haven't seen how they wrap it all up. But it's right up there with Succession currently as like my favorite shows of the year.
Okay.
So
I'm with that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not willing to say that yet, but I'm okay. I'm not even willing to say. Well, Succession was one of my favorites. Yeah.
Will it be up there with Succession if we get an episode devoted to Lube Man?
Oh, I'm already in a spot where, well, first of all, if that happened, Mike, it puts it up there with The Sopranos.
Lube Man.
For me, if there's a Lube Man episode. But no, this is already better than Succession to me. Than the most recent season of Succession.
Wait, you just told me you weren't ready to put it up there with Succession yet.
I'm saying I'm not willing to definitively say Succession was one of my favorite shows of the year.
Succession is the one you're not willing to put up there yet.
Yeah, well, I'm not willing to say any of my favorites for the year yet.
Oh, wow,
I'm just saying this is
Top
already
5 right now. Go.
No, this is already better than Succession to me, than the most recent season of Succession.
Wow. Okay. All right.
In terms of quality, it
Nice.
is, and I know that's saying a lot, but it really, I've enjoyed it that much. And this, like I said, 6 really put me there, man. Like this sort of like took all the shit from the first 5 that I was a little obviously annoyed by, not having filled in a lot of the blanks because the old man was so much. He's so much of this puzzle, and now we know.
One more question for you guys: do we get any Dr. Manhattan at all in this, or is he just like a looming kind of presence that we know is there, but
we saw him
not important to this story?
I believe we saw him on the television in the first episode.
Yeah, it was like
building on Mars or some shit.
Yeah, it was like some news footage. My definite guess is that we're going to get a tease for next season at the end of this season. But my crackpot theory is that Angela's husband is Dr. Manhattan. Because a few episodes...
Cal?
Yeah.
Cal's black, Mike.
He can turn himself black or blue. But
okay.
A few episodes ago, he was expounding a philosophy that's very much like Dr. Manhattan's. Like, he's really detached from humanity. He doesn't believe in an afterlife, but he loves his family.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this for that theory. Cal seems to be very not shocked by the things that go on in their home or
if
with
you look
Angela's.
back at
that's
he's
true.
a weird character.
Yeah,
he's just kind of
he's too
really
okay with all
solid
this.
and okay with everything.
Yeah,
and,
like when wifey like tosses you like a sawed-off shotgun and just like don't let anybody in the house, and
It's
you're
like,
just
bitch,
like,
what?
And you're just like, all right,
We got kids. The fuck are we doing here? No,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And
They're like, they bring him in. They're like, yeah, bring Cal in when she's like dying of nostalgia, and he's like, Angela, it's time to wake up now.
And in
All
the
right.
previous episode, he just blankly tells his 5-year-old daughter, like, no, there's no God.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's,
And
yeah,
when we
yeah,
die,
yeah.
we die, and there's nothing.
What?
Man, that's wow. That is crackpot theory.
Yeah.
Okay, I like
Yeah.
it. I like it.
Mike smoking the crack.
I'm not going there 100%. I'm just saying it's possible.
Hey, I like.
Now
it's
you said it. You're there
Yo,
100%.
crackpot,
All right,
that's a Reddit theory. That's like the type of thing you find on Reddit, and I'm not saying you got it from Reddit.
No,
I'm
I
saying,
haven't seen it anywhere.
Not at
but
all. Not at all.
It might
but I'm
be.
saying I love that shit. The ones that are like you're reaching, but also I can see that happen. That's
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah. This episode of OCC is also brought to you by Stance Socks. Have you noticed you're seeing or hearing a bunch of ads for socks Just years ago, no one ever talked about socks. So why is there so much noise suddenly about something we never used to care about? It's because one brand absolutely changed the game when it comes to socks. That brand's creativity, design, and quality was so incredible that it ignited a movement around a single piece of apparel no one had ever paid attention to before, socks. And all that attention brought out a bunch of wannabe brands that began saturating our lives with sock ads. But Stance Stance is the original. Pay no attention to the pretenders. The only brand you need to care about is the one that actually started it all, Stance. I probably have like 70 pairs of Stance socks at this point. I'm wearing a pair of their Butter Blends right now, which are Butter Blend by Stance, is the most comfortable brand or sub-brand of sock I have ever worn.
Like butter.
Yeah.
Like butter.
The Butter Blend is phenomenal. Sometimes I wear them with my Butter Yeezys. I feel super cool and special, and my feet are comfy. If you're one of the millions of people who have fallen in love with Stance, you already know why the sock world and your feet haven't been the same since. The designs are incredible. They're insanely comfortable. Their durability is unmatched. From their casual, everyday styles like no-shows and crews to their performance athletic product, there is nothing like Stance. If you've tried them, you know that if they're not Stance, they're just socks. One of the reasons I got into Stance was actually their collab with James Harden. He's one of my favorite athletes on the Houston Rockets. He made a bunch of socks with Stance, but they have so many good collabs with movies as well for OCC purposes. Pulp Fiction, Toy Story, Star Wars, Marvel, Rick and Morty, which we recently discussed, Stranger Things, Step Brothers. Go hit stance.com/dragon today. And you're never going to want to put anything else on your feet ever again when you get these. I promise you. They're so good. They're awesome. And this brand not only feels good on your feet, it makes your heart feel good too, from their annual support of Socks for Heroes, which sends fresh socks to deployed military that badly need them, to the collabs that have raised money for clean water initiatives in Africa, to California wildfire victims, to breast cancer awareness, their annual sponsorship of the World Adaptive Surf Championship. It's awesome to see how much Stance gives back. Stance.com/dragon. You're going to get your free pair of socks with purchase. A free pair of socks, Clam Fam, with purchase at stance.com/dragon. That's STANCE.com/dragon, because if they're not Stance, they're just socks. Let's talk about The Mandalorian. Episode 3.
Yeah.
And first question, is this entire season going to be about Mando saving LBY,
Yes.
who isn't actually Yoda?
Yes.
Little baby Yoda who isn't actually Yoda. Is he? Do you think it's for real?
Yeah.
How many episodes we got left? We're 3 deep.
5.
We have 5 more.
Yeah.
We end this one, before we get into the ins and outs of what happened, we end this one taking off into space with LBY back safely in the cockpit.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his little, he likes to take the top off of the...
This is the cutest thing I've ever seen. I am officially ready to say that this is the cutest animate being that I've ever laid eyes upon.
The one for me before LBY came into my life was Wally. I was a huge fan of Wally. Yeah, I thought that was the cutest thing I'd ever seen. And then and this is on screen. My dogs are the real life cutest thing I've ever seen. But then now LBY exists. I'm not sure.
They just get, you cannot, like, the Disney people. They just, I can't get over how they just put this thing together with the perfect combination of, like, the doughy eyes and the little old man hairs and the big floppy dog ears, and he's precocious and he only says stuff like, meh?
Yoda noises are
his
dope.
little baby basket. You got him all like swaddled. I mean, I just they just knew what they were doing.
Him
man.
all swaddled up and shit. And he's teensy tiny.
And he's tiny, and he just
likes
to crawl out of that little crib, that little bassinet.
Yeah, he does.
And he gets up on the cockpit, and he just unscrews the ball on the
Yo, what does
on the
he
handle.
eat, bro? Is anybody feeding LBY?
He eats little lizards frogs that run around.
Oh shit! Yeah, we saw him.
He ate a whole frog that was like the size of his head. So I'm sure he's good for a few days.
That thing's gonna last him a while. That was a gigantic and disturbingly large frog that he hossed down. What a freak! Yeah, but you're not playing, man. They really killed it with the little baby Yoda.
They did. Yeah,
incredible. So, basically, the ins and outs of this episode are what? He has to turn Baby Yoda into the guys he was doing the bounty for.
And he gets a bunch of Beskar for it.
Uh-huh.
Which he then goes and turns into full
sick armor. Our boy is leveling up every episode. As far as, this is like, it feels like a real like a hat tip to video game
Oh,
nerds.
absolutely. Yes. When they especially with the little sequence, both times that he's been in there now.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
hammering on the shoulder one. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, this is a scene straight out of like World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I just imagine like being in Shenmue on Dreamcast or something, and you like finally like can collect enough something, and you take it something. Yeah, you take it, and then they give you this whole badass sequence, and you can tell how long it's been since I actually played a video game. Since
By your reference
since
point,
the
yes.
one that I'm referencing is
Jesus.
from 2002. But
Barrett struggles with opening video games. I once saw him. He bought Red Dead Redemption, and I was like, psyched for you, dude. One of the funnest games I've ever played. And like 2.5 years later, I was in his apartment, and it was still in the plastic. And I was like, Barrett, what? And he was like watching another Fast and the Furious movie.
Yeah. But I definitely got that vibe too. The him like going back and turning in the best car for new product, basically.
Felt like that, yeah.
new flair, if you will. That's also we also got our new motto. This is the way.
This is the way.
Which is ironic because here, at Oyster Clam Co., aka Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, we like to say, when you join the Patreon, that is the way.
We also like to say it is known. That was the Game of Thrones one.
So
you got to get these phrases in.
Yeah.
They're important catchphrases.
You have to join the Patreon. It is known.
It is known.
Joining the Patreon
is the way.
This is the way.
And the truth and the light.
Yeah. So
I believe that's supposed to be God. but now it's also our Patreon.
Yeah, so but then he just feels too bad, man, because how could you not after you watch that little green guy go in behind closed doors with creepy scientist man just not knowing what's going to happen,
hooking him up to that
his,
thing. Creepy scientist seemed like he sort of might have meant well.
Yeah.
So he gets to live.
Yeah. Well, and Mando must have felt that too because he didn't blast him.
Right. Blast
the
him.
whole scene, the whole action sequence. We talked last week about how the show was like kind of getting darker with it, and I had said that I thought it was going to be a little grittier. This felt grittier.
It did. For sure.
He's murking dudes out there now.
And with relative ease, one of the questions I had for you moving forward is, I guess one of the things I'm excited for is like when we see him meet his match. At some point, he's going to fight somebody who's not. He's taking out 40 guys at a time right now. Like he's going in and working full rooms. Right. Nobody seems to be troubling him much. I can't even tell if he's breaking a sweat because he doesn't take the fucking helmet off.
Thank God he bought those whistling birdies back at the the compound.
Those things were sick. She was like, "You get
the commissary at the commissary.
One whistling birdie," and he was like, "I guess I'll okay." Fucking like a party favor.
He's like, "That'll do." And
then that thing kicks ass. It turns out, it takes out 5 dudes at once. Damn, dude, there's a lot going on. Okay, so in the end, I thought that obviously him going against the wishes of the guild to go take Yoda and break this whole thing, baby Yoda, little baby Yoda, was gonna. By the way, not Yoda, just to be clear, because I feel like we're gonna confuse the fuck out of people.
Okay,
it isn't Yoda.
Right.
It's just a Yodi-looking yodel. I thought they were gonna be pissed and come take his ass out. Like, okay, cool, Mando, you broke all the rules, and now we're gonna have to come kill you. But in the end, they come save him, and then like literally escort him out.
Yeah, and so that might be because I'm not sure that they did a good enough job of explaining, like, the guild is the bounty hunter guild.
Right.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian is like the tribe of his people.
Right. Okay, I got that. But the guild is what comes to save him. Not all the Mandalorians.
No, that's all the other Mandalorians.
No, the Mandalorians came to save him.
Oh.
The guild was going to kill him.
Okay, there's where the confusion was for me then. So the guild would have been upset, was going to kill him.
And before this episode, I thought that the guild was the Mandalorian guild.
That's what I thought. Okay, so...
but it's the bounty hunter guild. That's the guild.
Right. So Lando Calrissian is the...
It's not Lando Calrissian.
I know. But he is the...
It's Carl Weathers, baby. He's got a stew going with all those bounty hunters.
He's got a stew going.
Carl and his stew, they're the guild.
They're part of the guild,
part of the guild.
And he's like a... administrator in the guild.
And then the Mandos come and save Mando.
Yeah.
And nobody knows how many Mandalorians are left after the purge.
Okay, that's where I was very confused because for me in my head, he was the last Mandalorian.
Right.
And these other dudes coming to save him were like not.
Second point on this. Back after or back like, within the last 5-6 years, there's been all this talk about all the various Star Wars properties that they're developing. The Disney Plus was coming out. They're doing new trilogies. The Skywalker saga is ending. One of the properties that was always talked about was a Boba Fett spinoff. And I think it was going to be a Boba Fett spinoff movie.
Yeah.
that got canned. But now, isn't Boba Fett a Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
this is the gear.
I
right?
went into watching this.
Mando looks like Boba Fett.
I went into
Right.
watching this show thinking we were watching a show about Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I don't. I guess I didn't pay attention closely enough to like hear all of the tales of development. But it kind of feels like they were like, okay, well, we're not doing the Boba Fett movie, but we're doing this TV show for Disney Plus that's kind of about Boba Fett's peeps.
Yes,
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
that is the gist of it.
Yeah, it was basically like, we want to do a Boba Fett show, but Boba Fett is dead.
Sure.
So
Can't
we
do
could
Boba
bring him
Fett.
back, but
Be
let's
weird.
go ahead and make a new character and make it look a little different, but still
Okay.
get that Boba Fett coolness.
Yeah.
So
And
we're obviously in a position now, broken away. Okay, so here's my question then. I thought with what happened at the end of the episode that he was somehow going to be in a position now to take off his helmet. I was like, he's free of the guild. But it's the Mandalorians who don't take off their goddamn helmets.
Right.
And that's who saved him.
Right.
So I was thinking like, oh, we're set. Next episode, he's going to take that thing right off.
Yeah, I am beginning.
He's not taking
I
that
don't
helmet
think
off,
he's taking
Barrett.
the thing off.
I don't think he's taking that helmet off. I think we're seeing that helmet on the whole time.
But are you guys able to emotionally connect with him? Even
Oh,
though...
yeah, dude.
Yeah, right?
I
Yeah,
am.
It's working.
I am,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's
Barrett hates it.
Not
don't-
Barrett.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
he's walking through the back alleys, and he has LBY cradled up,
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself like, God, I wish I could see Pedro Pascal's face right now.
Okay.
See,
You know what I mean?
I can like I see his face when he talks.
There's no fear. There's no love. And you can like, I get what you guys are saying. Like, you get a little bit of that. You can kind of feel he's doing a good job with what he's got to work with.
Yeah.
But I still wish that we could see his face again. And look, if all of the canon and all of like the storytelling, mechanisms that they are using are just like, Mandos don't take their helmet off. That's what it is. That's fine. But why did you go get Pedro Pascal?
I still think it's because he's able to carry that character underneath that mask, and that it's really like take a look at the show through the lens of him being able to take off the helmet. You're looking at a totally different show. It's not the Mandalorian anymore. It's the Pedro Pascal's name or whatever. I like the way it is set up. I like that it carries this anonymity with it, and it has this level of like, it's not about the A-lister or whatever we went and got under this mask. It's about this fucking Star Wars story and this Mandalorian. They just straight up don't take off their helmet. It takes away some of like his human features, right? It makes him less human, and then you have to feel his humanity through the things he does, says, and his actions. Where
that's a good point.
they're pretty limited too. Like he's not a chatterbox. He chooses his words carefully. He doesn't say much. I like the way that it's worked so far. I went in like you, a little hesitant about how this whole helmet thing was going to play out. I know it's killing you, but I have completely gone the other way with it. Like I'm enjoying it.
Well, there's supposed to be a kind of co-star of this show. It's Gina Carano.
Yeah. Okay.
American Gladiators. Crush.
She's featured in a lot of the promo.
Yeah.
stuff.
When is she coming into play
Hopefully
here?
next episode.
And
I'm not
so,
sure.
and so it seems like she might kind of be
A love interest?
the emotional face. Here.
Well, no two people have ever looked more fit to have sex than Gina Carano and Pedro Pascal. They look like they were built for each other.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah.
Although he's a
like,
very little guy.
like
Yeah,
Mike
little
said.
dude.
I'm hoping that we get her in this next episode.
I'm hoping we get her in this next episode too, Barrett.
I think the way this one ended, he has a bounty out on him now. So all the bounty hunters in the galaxy are looking for him, and they're going to be looking for the Mandalorian. So he's going to have to take that mask off to hide, because nobody knows what his face looks like. Or the helmet, not the mask.
Loophole.
So we might be seeing him take
all
it
right.
off
That's
soon.
interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know who this human is. Gina Carano. I'm
She
looking at
was
photos
She's
of
in
her. She looks
Haywire.
like she could beat the shit out of me, and she's very hot.
She's in the Fast and Furious.
She was
movies.
No, that's why you know who she is.
she was a mixed martial artist.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell that based on all the flexing she's doing. I'm just gonna be here for a while on this.
I don't blame you.
Google. I mean, anyway, any more Mandalorian takes?
No, I think that's another fun episode, man.
It was. I enjoyed it. Next, this episode of OCC is also brought to you by Black Buffalo. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. As everyone is aware, or a lot of people are aware anyway, if you're not aware, I quit drinking over 2 years ago. Over 2 years ago. But I've really struggled to cut the habit of dipping out of my life. And I have finally found a way to at least ditch tobacco and keep the ritual with Black Buffalo. It's a tobacco alternative with food-safe ingredients and pharmaceutical-grade nicotine, just without the actual tobacco leaf or stem. It's a total game changer. If you are a dipper, if you're over 21 years old and you're not using Black Buffalo, it's time to make the switch. Tobacco-free. It is the closest thing to real dip that I've seen. I've tried many, many different alternatives, tried to quit for a very, very long time. This has been a huge problem for me, and Black Buffalo has been a massive, massive step forward to at least cut tobacco and all this fire-treated shit out of my life. Do yourself a favor, make the switch to Black Buffalo today. I've been using it exclusively since over a week now, actually, tobacco-free as a result of Black Buffalo. Trying all their different flavors. They've got a whole bunch. You'll see on their website. The straight is still my go-to. Their straight long cut. Use the promo code DRAGON and you'll get 25% off your first order on blackbuffalo.com. That's blackbuffalo.com. Code DRAGON for 25% off. Get off the tobacco. Join me in the land of the Black Buffalo. It's a big step, for real. Lose the tobacco. Blackbuffalo.com, code DRAGON, 25% off. And now it's time to talk His Dark Materials for a bit. Barrett, you and I watched episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
And you called it Visual Ambient, but it was actually titled The Idea of North.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you sad that Did I just betray your trust? This was a text conversation in which you called it.
Look, I got to talk about this.
Okay, good.
And let me tell you what. I hear you on Twitter and also in person. If I saw you on Saturday and you gave OCC love, first, thank you. Also, talked to some people that were like, His Dark Materials, man. Like, you got to keep going.
Don't give up, bro.
And I just, before I had talked to some of you, I had watched episode 2. I was like, okay, I'm getting back in the saddle. I'm not tired this time. Had relatively early in the evening. I'm ready for this. Like, let's put on episode 2. And like 20 minutes in,
did a bunch of cocaine. You're like, all right, I'm awake.
I don't know what it is, but like 20 minutes in, I'm like curling up on the couch, like nestling in the blanket, and it's just like my eyes are heavy. And there's something about the pacing of this show that is just like, it's just weird because it's not. I don't even necessarily feel like this show is moving slowly, but it's just there's something about like the pace. Is weird.
I got the feeling that you're describing I didn't get it during episode 1 much. Okay, I didn't really. Episode 1, I feel like we both watched it in just like a weird headspace or something. And it's sort of a lot to get into this new universe. But episode 2, it was when we were watching the like suave black dude who works for you know who I'm talking. He's like knockoff Idris Elba sort of.
What about him though?
We were watching him. He's walking to find something,
mm-hmm.
or walking through the fucking city or whatever. And I just remember like looking down at my phone, and like 45 seconds passed, and I looked up. And the motherfucker was still walking. And I was just like, wait, no, I get it. He's moving. Like, why am I still watching? There's a lot of moments like that where it's sort of like, all right, let's move. The pacing is strange. It is a bit strange because, and especially when you reflect back on all that occurred in the episode,
mm-hmm.
you're like, well, there was kind of a lot there.
Right.
And some exciting moments. So why did I still feel like it took fucking forever?
Yeah.
That's how I felt too. I think it's as a result of the way some of it is displayed to us almost.
The other thing about this is I get the feeling that most of the people that are out here backing His Dark Materials are attached or connected to the book. Because I feel like this is... Those of you that are still very into the show are on like some Harry Potter shit where like all of the...
Maybe.
Like you probably already know what an alethiometer is. You probably know like who Lyra is. Like, and so you have this kind of deeper attachment to the show already, but right now it's not there for me.
Well, there are 3 out, right?
I think
the 4th one comes out this
tonight.
Sunday. Oh, it's not a Sunday show.
It's a Monday show, yeah.
Then the 4th one comes out tonight,
mm-hmm.
and I by our rule of 3 or whatever, like obviously we got to watch the 3rd one.
I've been convinced to watch the 3rd one.
Okay,
yes.
Good, because I'll say that like I think you're quicker to jump ship on a show like this than I am. And I think based on the complexity and the amount of shit we're being given so far, I'm this one. It's like I won't really judge it until probably 5 in.
Let me ask you this: did you realize? Do you know that at one point our suave black guy is in regular Our World 2019?
Yes.
Okay, that went right over my head.
Oh yeah. So that was a big part of this episode. Is that, well, first of all, her now father. We find out it's not her uncle, Azriel.
Yeah.
He's researching traveling between the different dimensions and how many worlds there are and shit. And these guys that are already in that messing with that stuff, they don't like that, right? They don't want him jumping around between dimensions or whatever, between worlds.
So when we're talking about dust in the two worlds,
yes.
The other world is our world?
I thought it depends which world they're in when they're saying the other world, I think. When he's meeting with the grungy white dude who's doing dirt for him in the real world, when he says the other world, he means the magical world, I guess.
Right, but that's the one that they live in. Lyra's in Magic World.
Yeah. And then the real world, 2019 or whatever.
Future.
It looks futuristic a little bit.
The dude, he's got an iPhone.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's his suit. It's his suave suit. Because at first I thought, oh, he's t-shirt under the suit guy, but then I got a closer look and I was like, hold up, that's a fucking polo. But it matches with the suit so perfectly you can't even tell.
Gotcha.
And then I was like, I want that fucking suit.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could pull that off like he does. I'm not knockoff Idris Elba.
Okay.
Idris.
Idris. Okay. So they're the two worlds that they're moving in between.
I wish I could do the meme.
Oh shit!
I wish I could do it. Sorry.
Is Magic World and regular world?
Yeah, it's Magic World, and then like the real world looks like the Inception world to me, the one from Inception. Is that help?
Wait. Which world looks like Inception?
Yo, the real world that the dude goes to in his suave suit and he's walking through the streets for
looks
2.5
like Inception?
minutes looks Inception-y to me for some reason.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing is, there's something about you. We talked about how this just didn't feel like an HBO show.
It doesn't at all. Yeah, and because it wasn't made by HBO.
And it doesn't. And there's also something, and I don't know if this is like, maybe it's staying very true to the book's dialogue and such, because I don't even necessarily feel like it's like I don't feel like the style is British by any means either. But like,
it is very different.
I'd like to go back and just count how many times the word Lyra is said out loud in this episode.
There's like Lyra. It was a lot.
Right?
It was a lot, yeah.
Like, Pan keeps saying Lyra, and our mean lady keeps saying Lyra. Lyra, you must be a sweet young girl.
Yes.
Lyra.
It's a lot.
Pen. I don't know.
Lyra Silvertongue. Oh, that might be what she comes to be known as later. Fuck, this Wikipedia is just a spoiler disaster. I can't even for the names of the characters, bro, and I immediately have to bounce. The first line is giving me like some name change later on.
You know what else though? I got to at least get to Lin-Manuel Miranda. Right?
Exactly. There's a lot left to see here. That's the thing that I have no doubt about. And now that we've been given, oh, by the way, one of the biggest actors on the show that we thought was her uncle is her fucking father.
Yeah.
Like, surely it has to build. And so far, I feel like we've just gotten we're not deep yet. We're not. We're really just not. 2 episodes in, we haven't had enough. But her parents never died in an airship accident. That was a lie. Turns out Mrs. Coulter, maybe not a good person, maybe is. I don't know. She seems pretty insidious. She has all the kids.
Yeah,
Billy's in there and shit. She's got the kids. She
throws the letters into the fire. I think she's bad.
Yeah, she seems pretty bad. She also lets her demon thing fucking attack Lyra's at one point.
That thing? Yeah.
It's like, hey, chill. I guess I kind of always knew she would have to have a bad angle to her because, frankly, it's her look, dude. I watched The Affair.
Right.
Now I can't see her from like a normal angle. One of my questions that I wrote at one point was, he's in the other world, right? When I was talking about the Idris Elba guy, which that's not racist, right? That I compare him to Idris Elba. They look sort of similar. He's a very, very handsome man. They just happen to both be black. this is still a weird line for white people. Like,
Yeah, I'm not gonna touch it.
It's just that's ridiculous. That's crazy, man. Like it's just the person I would like that popped into my head. Fuck. I'm trying to think of a white guy that looks like him now, and you know what? I'm struggling. Anyway,
it's probably
he has a snake up his sleeve.
Probably though, like somebody saying that like Tom Cruise and Daniel Craig look alike.
Fair enough. He has a snake up his sleeve.
Yeah,
that's neat.
That's his daemon.
That is neat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's his daemon. What? So when he crushes that chick's butterfly, she's
she
goner.
That's a great question too. I don't know. I think so.
The daemon,
because that was one of the weird things over the first 2 episodes. I was like, wait, so is all you got to do to kill somebody just kill their daemon?
Because if that's the case, hey, maybe
really easy.
Don't be a butterfly. or a weasel. Like I'm just stepping on that thing. What's going on here?
Right. Then why isn't every daemon, a
fucking
cheetah
or a sea turtle with a shell?
Rhinoceros. Give me a rhinoceros out there.
Like an elephant. There you go. We're set. I guess because it's a size issue, but
yeah.
And you don't get to pick. They land on whatever your stupid soul gives it. I guess.
But when you're a kid, I guess So I guess hers was set as a butterfly. She was old enough. But yeah, man, it seems like he just crushed her in the palm of his hand.
Yeah, she seemed dead. We need more Azrael. I need to see what... I'm still very confused about what he initially discovered when he was taking pictures of the Alaskan fucking light situation.
Same. Don't know.
Don't understand what the dust has anything to do with it all.
Also, would be huge, huge, huge. Just one time, tell me what the alethiometer does.
Yep, and then maybe just the dust. I need the dust thing carries... This isn't like me trying to make a pun. No weight yet. At all. Like, it is doing nothing for me or the story.
Yeah.
Like, I know her uncle discovered it. People seem to be really worried about that.
Yeah.
I don't know why, though, Barrett, because frankly...
the dust is really just leaving a lot up in the air.
You're good.
Know?
You're a professional. You're a real professional. So then at one point, Lyra's, like, working as a drink server at a party for Mrs. Coulter, which, now, Mrs. Coulter's a bitch. And to get back to my point, she's definitely bad.
Yes.
And then a journalist comes and is like, yo, do you, like, takes her to the side and explains to her, like, she said, first of all, she's like, it was a really good strategy for you to get in so close with the gobblers. Like, I like what you did here. And she's like, come again? And she's like, General Oblation Board, what she was trying to figure out earlier. What is this General Oblation Board? The initials, GOB, Gobbler. And tells her that Mrs. Coulter is the Gobblers. She is the General Oblation Board. This is her project. She set this whole fucking thing up. The suave black dude shows up at that party, talks to Mrs. Coulter. They're very much working together. Tells her that he's been busy at Oxford, which is the real world. Okay, when they say they went to Oxford, that's in the real world.
Right.
And see, we're figuring it out slowly but surely. By episode 8, I'm sure we'll know what's happening.
This seems pertinent. Definition of oblation is a thing presented or offered to God. Oblation, meaning an offering, is a term used particularly in, I'm going to botch that word.
Don't do it.
Ecclesiastical use.
Ecclesiastes is a book in the Bible, so that makes sense.
Or a solemn offering or presentation to God.
Ecclesiastical is the word. You did it.
That was huge.
You're on fire.
Yeah.
Scorching.
So, yeah.
So
I guess these kids are going to be offered up as...
That doesn't. Your Google just now really put those kids in a bad spot. Because before you Googled that word, I was like, it seems like they might be going to the best place they could ever go. Because they keep telling them that.
They're going to heaven is where they're going, right?
Yeah, these kids are going to die. But they keep telling them, like, you're going to the best place you could ever possibly go. And it's like, yeah, well, we know now that's not going to happen.
Another name that the show says 97 times in this episode. Roger, Lyra. What about Roger?
Pan, Roger, Lyra, Pan, Roger, Lyra. There it is. That was episode 2. I was honestly drawn in a little more with this episode.
Were you oblated?
I wasn't oblated, but I was drawn in a little more throughout the course of this one. I changed what I think my daemon right now would be a squirrel. Just letting you know.
Okay.
And I'm going to be watching the season all the way through no matter what. Barrett's got at least one more in him. I'm in. I'm just in very hesitantly. Like, I'm not stoked on this yet. I'm not sad on it. I'm just watching it, and I'm like, I'm willing to see where we go from here. We're only 2 in, and I don't think in a fantastical world, 2 hours of TV is not going to get you where you need to be to know what's going on yet.
I will say this, though. what's strange about this show, and I'm just kind of like reiterating what I said up front about it, is that I really can't put a pin in what is not like registering with me. But there's just and I usually know like why I'm out on a show.
Right.
But this one, there's just something that is just like not.
You've got that
like,
feeling of
hitting
unease
home.
still, where you just aren't quite sure exactly where they're going with it yet, right?
I guess, yeah. So I really hope that episode 3, and you know, just to like maybe draw a parallel to Watchmen, like it's reasonable to say that I was in early on Watchmen because I knew some of the background, right?
Well, and for me, honestly, like mine was because I know who's running the show,
Sure.
and I know what they're working with.
So even in
I got
both,
reasons
in both
to trust.
cases, you have something to kind of grab onto.
Yeah.
And right now, I don't have anything, and so it's like if the showrunners here, the people that made Dark Materials, are like expecting people that aren't familiar with the Philip Pullman novels to kind of be able to latch on, like you got to give me something in episode 3.
So far, they're struggling.
Tell me what the dust is. Tell me what the alethiometer is. Give me some exposition, basically.
I'm with you, because so far, yeah, the only reasons, if you're, the Watchmen, we just named ours, this one, it would be like the cast, I guess. Like, that's really all I'm still sort of looking forward to, is the fact that I know the cast is strong and there are characters we're yet to meet.
Yeah.
But as far as what we've gotten storyline-wise and the dust thing, and Lyra's still asking questions like, I don't know who Mrs. Coulter is or where we are.
And that's actually, I mean, just to kind of keep digesting it, Lyra, this little actress who was great in Logan.
Yes.
But she is being asked to carry a lot right
She
now.
is. And so far, it's a little, it's fallen a little short.
Well, and I'm just, it's never going to be my favorite when we're trying to do like some PG-13 type stuff, like some weighty, heady, sci-fi-ish stuff.
Sure.
And like the burden of the entire story
falls
rests
on a child.
It's
a lot.
It's one of the reasons why I ended up like pushing us into Parasite, or my vote was for Parasite over Jojo Rabbit even, is because I like watched the trailer and I was like, man, I don't know if I want to go watch an 8-year-old kid carry a movie.
It's fucked up because
it's like a
my mom was like, you got to go see Jojo Rabbit.
And I've heard great things. Like I want to see the movie still, but it's just
That's the reason
that was one of the reasons why I like.
Because you hate children. You want Billy to die.
I want Roger.
Roger. Who's
Save Roger.
Who's Billy?
Billy from Stranger Things?
Billy. No.
Anyway, I don't know. That's just me thing.
Is there not a Billy missing somewhere?
Yeah, the other Billy Costa.
Yes. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that in
Sweet
this?
Kid, Billy Costa. Yeah.
Billy Costa. All right. Well, moving on.
Billy Costa and Roger.
But we'll be talking about episodes 3 and 4 next week. Barrett, I don't know what kind of time situation I'll be done with 3 and 4 next week.
Yeah, I think
because we'll be recording not Monday today. This week it's a different week.
I'm going to see how 3 treats me.
All right, you see how you do.
Yeah,
I'll have 3 and 4 for next week. Before we head out, let's quickly do our top 5. I don't believe we did one last week. This week we're doing top 5 Daniel Craig movies. You brought up Daniel Craig earlier.
That's right.
Funny. He's James Bond.
He is.
If you're wondering who's Daniel Craig, if you can't picture him in your head, he's James Bond. Did that help? He's a very handsome British man.
Yeah, and this is another one of those. This is another one of those weird ones because you feel like Daniel Craig
is in a ton of good movies.
And then
you go on his IMDb,
and he's really like
he's in 5.
He's Bond, man.
He's in 5, and 4 of them are James Bond movies.
But it really like it was. This always happens. Like you'll go on people's IMDb's, and you're either shocked at how many things they've been in, or you're like, wait, they plucked this dude out of relative obscurity, made him James Bond, and now he's like one of the most famous actors in the world,
basically,
because he's James Bond and not really a ton else.
Yep, that's fair. I mean, in his case, when you go through his list, the couple that stand out in terms of non-James Bond films are Layer Cake.
Yep.
Which I think anybody who has seen includes that in their top 5. Took me forever to see that movie, by the way. Road to Perdition, which I actually had forgotten he was even in. He's the villainous character in that movie, I believe.
That was early career.
Very early. That was before.
Road to Perdition and Layer Cake were basically the two movies
that got him in the position to be James Bond. And Road to Perdition, it was really just Layer Cake, I'd argue. Road to Perdition, it was a smaller role. It wasn't even that big of a role. Tom Hanks was the main character. But yeah, I mean, Defiance was a solid. There's been sprinkles here and there. He's in Munich as a character. Logan Lucky is one that people like to harp on some.
Have you seen that? I have not seen that either.
But I've had it recommended to me.
The other one here is Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yes.
Which is a movie that I really, really liked. I liked it more than critics liked it.
I enjoyed it too. I thought it was good.
Talking about just like weird stuff that happens with films, and it's just now that we're talking Craig. Like, it's interesting because that was supposed to be another international, like, series of box office smash movies.
Well, but the thing that got weird with The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is that they had already done the German...
They'd already done the trilogy.
Trilogy, yes.
In where the book is from. Sweden?
Whatever. Yeah, it's not Germany. I always try to cram it into Germany for some reason. Yeah. Swedish. They had already done the Swedish versions of the film with an incredible actress and the actor, the dude that's now in all kinds of, he's in a ton of American movies. So when The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and the Daniel Craig version came through, it was just like, I wasn't as stoked on it. I think I watched the first one and bounced. Well, they made more, didn't they?
No, that's what I'm saying. This was supposed to be like another, like this was going to be like the American smash
I thought they just,
version.
I figured they just kept going and I never paid attention.
No.
So that was it. They rolled out the 2011 one.
They released the first one,
and then they bailed.
And then there was like all sorts of like production hiccups with getting scheduling right for the next one.
Oh, word!
And then like Fincher, who I believe David Fincher's directed this first one, which is one of the reasons why I loved it because Fincher. But and then like I think he bailed. And
You're correct. It was David Fincher.
And then Daniel Craig. It didn't work with Daniel Craig or
he was
Rooney Mara's schedule. And then like the studio was kind of like cold on it because like hadn't really been as big of a hit as they thought it was going to be. And so just like all this stuff just kind of snowballed and it basically got canned.
Rooney Mara.
There is now a sequel slated with all new actors.
# sequel slated.
That came out and bombed.
It already came out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was based on the third book.
That one was
with
a
new
disaster?
actors, and it just bombed. If you watch the trailer for it, it looks really corny.
Here's a weird...
What was that one called?
The girl
Spider's Web?
Spider's Web.
Maybe?
Or Hornet's Nest?
I don't remember.
Don't kick the girl's hornet's nest. When you Google The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, oddly enough, the top thing that shows up, in the search, but in the top right corner of your Google, and I hope this is not specific to this. This is a brand new computer, folks. I have not had time to look at pornography on it or search for women's panties. So it is unusual that it's a Victoria's Secret Luxe Lingerie Dragon applique high waist cheeky panty that pops up when you search for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I might have the computer doesn't know me yet and thinks that I need to purchase these.
Why not?
$69.50 for some panties? Ladies, y'all are wilding out. Holy shit. That's not a joke.
Oh,
that reboot had Claire Foy.
Claire Foy was Elizabeth Salander in The Girl in the Spider's Web. That's crazy.
Elizabeth Salamander.
Yeah.
Elizabeth. I want to go listen to the Elizabeth. I want to go watch the Swedish ones again because I like the way they talk.
Mm-hmm. I saw the first two. They were really good.
The Swedish ones?
Swedish ones,
yeah. They were dope. They're fucked up, but like,
oh yeah,
it's real fucked up. If you've never seen The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, go watch the Swedish ones. Don't watch the Daniel Craig one. No offense, Daniel Craig. I know we're doing your top 5, but this one didn't make your top 5.
I like the Daniel Craig one.
It's okay. It's a good movie. It's got good ratings and shit for the most part, but it's not as good as the Swedish one. The Swedish one's badass.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Are you guys doing Daniel Craig because of his Dark Materials connection?
No.
No, although he was
in the Golden Compass.
Right.
Aha.
No, but we
yes,
are
Mike,
doing,
we're smart, and that's why.
But
right,
we
of
are.
course.
We are.
Why did
doing,
I even ask?
Yeah.
It's that connection, but also because we are.
There was a real reason, but that's a good reason, a better reason. Probably.
We can segue because we are doing Knives Out for our Patreon movie club.
Yes, yes, Knives Out, dude. So I watched the trailer,
which is probably going to be like it sounds like we'll go right into this top 5 since we didn't have a ton to work with.
No, so mine definitively, just for the record, is number one, Casino Royale. Before we move into Knives Out,
Yeah.
Casino Royale rebooted the James Bond franchise in a way that I did not think was possible.
Yep.
And as Barrett and I have spoken to many times, they took inspiration from the Bourne series. They said, we're going to make this more gritty hand-to-hand combat and have it be a little more like James is going to get bloodied up and shit. Like, it's not going to be him in a tuxedo sipping martinis the whole time. He's going to get the fuck kicked out of him. He's going to have a psycho that bleeds from his eye swinging a rope with a knot on the end of it up into his testicles when he's sitting on a chair naked and the bottom of the chair has been removed.
You hate to see it.
And he's laughing like a maniacal psychopath the entire time. It's fucking crazy. Great movie, but the setting is what makes it. It's not just my number one Daniel Craig movie. Casino Royale is one of my favorite movies. Like, it's in my top 30 probably.
Casino Royale is a phenomenal movie.
It's very well made.
Good.
It's in a place that I am madly in love with in the Bahamas and all the scenery. We actually have gotten to be in a part that they shot the poker scene at the beginning where he drops the fucking barricade on all those cars and then wins that dude's car. I've been up in that motherfucker. I didn't get to play poker or do any of the cool things that he did, but I was there. And I love that movie, dude. And then we've gotten a few other good ones out of this James Bond.
Did you get to have sex with a henchman's wife who then gets murdered because of it?
And left in a hammock.
Yeah. Did you do that part?
No.
Oh, okay.
But
That's good.
it always bugged me how they did her like that in that hammock.
Yeah.
It's like, where the fuck they put her in the hammock? Because it just makes it even more complicated when you go find the body and it's like, you know, when you fall out of a hammock, the thud, it's just an awkward untangling to the ground. They got this corpse that's going to do that now. Anyway, I fucking loved that movie. And then Skyfall is a very good James Bond movie. Spectre is a good James Bond movie. And then Layer Cake.
Spectre's not that good.
It's okay. Road to Perdition will close out my top five. And then
Mine would be Casino Royale, Skyfall 2, and then I would say Layer Cake 3, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo 4.
cool.
And
then you're done.
and then I don't.
You don't even have a 5.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Just
leave
say
it.
Munich.
I'm just gonna leave it open. Okay, so how big of a role did he have in Munich?
Secondary.
He's good.
But he is very good.
Oh, yeah.
He's good in
But
everything. He's a good actor.
Eric Bana is
He's the main guy.
The main guy in
Yeah,
Munich,
he's
right?
just part of Urbana's crew. He's like
Yeah.
He's in the
okay.
squad.
fourth
Okay.
on the call
That's-
sheet.
yeah. All right, so I'll throw Munich in there.
Yeah. But we're going to watch Knives Out in December for Patreon. I've watched the trailer no less than like 10 times. It's as Barrett and I spoke to a few episodes ago, it's one of those things where the cast is insane, and it almost reminds it's like Valentine's Day or New Year's Eve, those movies where you're like, okay, 42 A-listers, this is going to suck ass. But just from the trailer alone, you could tell, first of all, Daniel Craig's detective character, they use him very sparingly in the trailer. They don't let him talk much, so that when he does, you're like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. He's just got this cool accent. He just carries himself in a way that's like, it's very...
Daniel Craig's doing Southern. You got to see that.
He's doing like mystery detective, though,
Right.
like having fun with it. Like he's there to solve the crime, but also knows it's outrageous. And like, it just looks fucking...
Chris Evans looks like he is redoing his role from Not Another Teen Movie,
which
looks great.
If that was indeed the idea there, that was genius. They were like, dude, just go with the Not Another Teen Movie guy.
Look, if you have never done one of our Patreon movie clubs, this is the one to do. One, you're going to have holiday cash to spend because, cash money's holidays. It's $5. You'll get the movie club. One, we're announcing earlier than we ever have what the movie is. You've got time. You got the holidays to go see this movie.
You do.
Rotten Tomatoes. Let me give you this. Let me tell you this, because this does not happen in this day and age with the review bombing that we get and harsh criticism from critics out there for movies that the GP generally likes.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
96 on the tomato meter, 95 audience score. You just don't see it, folks.
Wow. That is very impressive. 3 out of 4 from the Washington Post.
So
I don't know what that means.
It's
3 out of... How is your rating system for movies? 4 points, bro.
Right, because that's impossible.
What does a 3
Because
mean?
3 out of 4 doesn't sound that good. But
2,
then
I'm definitely not going.
4 out of 4, you can't give everything a 4.
What falls into 2? Shitty movies that you might recommend?
I guess no.
Look,
I
it was
think
terrible, but go. It was a 2.
2 is like, I guess an average movie. Like, it's okay.
3 is good.
3
4
is
like
good,
all-time
4 is-
favorite. 1
4
is don't
like
go
great.
see it.
Yeah.
Okay, I can get with that WAPO.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Okay.
Anyway,
I still don't know how the every time I talk about Rotten Tomatoes, somebody throws the how it works at me, and I'm like, yeah, and I always forget. I don't care.
The way the tomato meter works is that means that 96% of reviews have been good.
Okay. Not that it has a 96% rating out of 100.
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. So yeah, man.
By the way, Ford versus Ferrari being heavily lauded.
Yeah, it's a similar one here.
Praised.
Slightly lower
Ooh,
from the critics, 91.
91.
Slightly higher from the audience, 98. But it's right there in that 90-90 range, which you just don't see that often.
The fuck is the two popes, dude? What is that?
I don't know.
We got a show about popes already. We need a movie now.
Yeah, man. We're announcing early the holidays. This is an approachable movie that will be in all the theaters. You should go see it. It's got good reviews. The audiences are loving it. It's got a huge, awesome cast.
Fun with your family.
Fun with the family. It's fun for the whole family,
It is
Ross.
fun for the whole fucking family. Get your whole fucking family on Patreon.com.
This is the way. Go see
Cockles.
Knives Out. Go join the Patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles,
We have spoken.
and get our potty about it. And not only will you get that one, but you'll get other ones too. So
We have spoken. That will do it for today's episode of OCC. Huge thanks to our sponsors again for supporting the show. Make sure you support them to support us. And if you want more OCC, there's only one place to get it, patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. December's movie club just announced Knives Out, starring Daniel Craig and most of Hollywood. What else? Oh, remember, when you sign up for patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles, you immediately gain access to our entire backlog of content. Many video episodes have been made now, Barrett. We're going to have video of this very episode that you're listening to.
Wow.
If you're like, wow, I wish I could have watched that one instead of just heard it. Guess what, motherfucker? You can on patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles, probably as soon as Tuesday morning, if I had to guess. Yeah, isn't that neat? Very cool. There's a bunch of videos up on there now. Follow us on social media at Oysters, Clams, Cockles on Instagram, at Clams and Cockles on Twitter. We're on Facebook.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. You can follow me, Ross Bolen, at WRBolen, at WRBOLEN on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, WRBolen. And you can listen to my other show, the Ross Bolen Podcast, where we focus on comedy, humor, sports, music, but also mental health, addiction, substance abuse, and serious life shit. Wherever you're listening to OCC, the Ross Bolen Podcast. Barrett, where can we follow you on social media and hear more of your lovely voice?
check me out.
Don't do that. That's not the way you want to go out. I'm telling you right now that you just lost 2 followers.
At Barrett Dudley on Instagram.
What even was that? Was it like a Frankenstein of Beavis and Butthead or something? What the fuck?
And on the old Twitter thing.
It was almost Haggard. You were close. But you were just something. We just need to leave.
The
old Twitter thing.
You can follow my other podcast at Club Cool Pod on Instagram and check us out wherever you're listening to this. Just search for Club Cool. Boy, we have just been on a roll lately. This week we are talking about the 2020 AVN Award nominations. Last week we did Grammys.
Oh,
Because we like to hit on pop culture as well as style and fashion.
now you're doing mammies.
So now we
And
got
poppies.
to just talk about like who was voted for best girl on girl scene.
It may strike you as odd, but that interests me.
Yeah,
I'm interested in this episode.
Yeah,
Very interested.
there you go.
I'm gonna listen. Club Cool AVN Awards recap coming soon. Everyone have a phenomenal Thanksgiving. Eat yourself some oysters, clams, and cockles. Until our next helping. Adios, muchachos.